been out of education for a couple of years, and let me tell you, I miss some aspects of school. The adult world is scary and confusing. Life was simple in school, but you also couldn't pee without permission from an adult talking about conjugating verbs. Sir, I need to go to the loo, please.
So why didn't you go during lunch?
That was 2 hours ago and I didn't need to go then.
Well, tough. What are you doing? Emily!
Teachers are fascinating creatures. They eat homework, live inside schools, yet somehow have lives and loved ones? What? I've had a few interesting teachers during my 12 years of school. Here is but a selection of the many I have encountered. Disclaimer, these are not their real names. If you happen to know who these people are, please keep your mouth shut. This is Ms. Robbie, my year 1 teacher who absolutely hated me. I have no idea why. I still have no idea why. Maybe she just hated children? She made a habit of speaking with my mum after school and insisting she tell me off for the things I'd done at school. It made no sense whatsoever. She also saw me as a troubled student in dire need of a child psychologist. I'm 7. I don't need a fucking psychologist.
Emily!
Apparently she mellowed after having her own kids. I pity her poor offspring. The next teacher in our lineup is my year 5 and year 6 teacher, Mr. Pan. He played rugby on weekends and would sometimes come in with a black eye and an interesting story to tell. He briefly taught our class how to count to 10 in Japanese and some other phrases. This perfectly lined up with my love for Ghibli movies and discovering the 10-minute trailer reel in the extras. And up next we have the headmaster of my old primary school, Mr. Bucky. I'd compare him to Gandalf, a big intimidating voice but a kind and understanding guy who loved his job. He retired a few years after I left the school and I will never forget the awesome things he did. I once gave him a copy of a story I was writing. The story has long since been lost to history, but I still have the note he wrote me after he'd read it. He also got silly string squirted at him at the end of my year 6 school play Bugsy Malone. He had a laugh about it. Thank you, sir. The train stops here for my primary school teachers because high school appeared and slapped me in the face with a variety of teachers, some wonderful, some wicked, but all interesting. We'll start with the audacity of this bitch, Miss Tectonic. Where to begin with her? Wait, I know. Miss Robbie was nothing compared to this woman. Though to be fair, I think she hated me as much as I hated her. Thing is, I was 14, maybe 15, and going through the moodiest part of puberty, so her timing was awful. I didn't like geography as a subject anyway, so Miss Tectonic's arrival was more or less an unsolicited dick pic from the devil. I should try and be fair, maybe she was going through some shit of her own and projected it into her lessons, but that doesn't make an interesting YouTube video now, does it? I did the bare minimum in her class just to slug through it and drop the damn subject as soon as I hit GCSEs. Her lessons were not interesting whatsoever. She droned on about the 3 types of sedimentary rock for a month straight when we should have been learning about the rest of the damn syllabus.
Emily!
Fuck off. My only detention was with her, and it was because I'd genuinely forgotten to do the homework. I think generally as a rule, if it's your first offence with a lack of homework, you should get off easily. Not with her, apparently. 1 hour detention after school to do the homework. And on a Tuesday! I had a media club after school on Tuesdays. What the hell, lady? I've got places to be, miss.
I don't care. You will stay here for an hour and do your homework in silence.
Can I listen to music? It helps me.
Silence.
Her only saving grace was that she let me leave the detention 15 minutes early. I bolted out before she changed her mind. Thanks to her, I missed out on precious filming and editing time. She was my high school's headmistress and she was not suited for the job at all. She would ask the government for extra funding for the school and direct it into her own pocket. The way she spoke down to everyone, even her fellow teachers, was so unsettling. The school suffered beneath her. I remember the school was struggling with funding once that we were limited on notebooks and pencils and textbooks. Some subjects were chock full of resources while others struggled to give the students a decent lesson. The swimming pool round the back of the school broke when I was just starting out, and to my knowledge it still hasn't been fixed. It has become an unofficial greenhouse, overrun with vines and grass. And then one day, during my GCSE years, Mrs. Apple vanished. We heard rumours from teachers and parents and news articles and came to the conclusion that she'd buggered off with a large sum of the school's funding and left us to suffer the consequences. We never heard from her again. The deputy head took over and eventually became the new headmistress. She was fantastic compared to the awful disaster we just suffered through. Bonus round! My Year 10 English teacher, Miss Nook, who was completely obsessed with Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. She took over from a useless teacher we all dubbed Ms. Broccoli. That woman couldn't mark a paper if her life depended on it. My 6th form English teacher, Mr. Payne, who once complimented my World Book Day outfit. Ta-da! And Gigi plush. He made lessons engaging and interesting and was surprised I knew the word azure without looking it up in a thesaurus.
It's all thanks to Scrabble.
Thank you to all the great teachers and the not so great teachers, yes, even you Miss Tectonic and Miss Robbie and Mrs. Apple. They're genuinely there to help as best as they can, so tolerate them and the cryptic marking system forged in the fires of Mordor. I'd like to give a shout out to the wonderful Chloe, Amy and Maaz for lending me their voices for this video. Be sure to go check them out, I'll have their socials and things scattered around the video somewhere or in the description, that's most likely where they'll be. Be nice to your teachers, stay safe and wear a mask. Wash your hands as well. Doodles!